girls. Um, Beast mode gang, as someone said in the live the other day. So what I'm doing today is I'm going to be showing you guys. So basically, the donor engine that's in the car at the moment, the high pressure fuel pump is cracked. The sensor on the top that can throw up faults. I don't actually have any faults at the moment on it, but it's a common thing. They crack, people lean on them, or something might hit it when you're doing maintenance, and you end up having to replace this. Um, I already have Viz Motorsports high pressure fuel pump internals fitted to this pump. This is the pump off the original Golf. However, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys step by step how you would remove your high pressure fuel pump. You can access your cam follower, so this will give you a chance to change your cam follower. And I'm going to show you how you would go about fitting the Viz high pressure fuel pump internals. So all I'm going to do is basically remove the old internals from the old pump. I'm not going to show you me fitting them in, but it'd be the same thing reversed, if that makes sense. So I'm going to run you through some of the tools that you guys are going to need. Um, I've got a vise on the floor because I'm lazy and I still haven't managed to make a bench for it. You can literally have your pump sat on the floor. I would recommend removing the sensor before trying to fit the internals, just in case you crack the sensor. So on this case, what we're going to need to fit the Viz high pressure fuel pump internals, as I said, these ones are stock in here. This was fitted a while back, but what we're going to need for this is we're going to need a 17 mm spanner for the fuel line. We're going to need a 13 mm spanner. This is to remove the pressure valve, the fuel valve on the high pressure fuel pump. We'll need a T30, either a hand tool or like I've got here on a battery powered ratchet. And so there are two variants, okay, guys. You'll need the hose clamp pliers if your vehicle has the rubber fuel line. If not, you'll need a lovely M8 spline, I think it is. M8 spline with a little handle like this. It's very tricky to get to, but that's what we've got on the Golf at the moment because that's the stock engine. And we've got a deep 18, and this is what will help you remove the high pressure fuel pump internals from the pump. So a ratchet and a deep. So what I'll do now is I'll step by step, I'll show you guys what the plan is. Hopefully I can zoom in on this, maybe. Yep, so I can zoom in on this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what I do first. You want to get this PCV pipe out the way. There's two tabs on it either side, but you can see there's a little serrated bit there. You push from top and bottom, and that will allow you to unclip it. I don't ever remove it completely. I just slide it out of the way like that. We want to, so you guys will see now how badly cracked this sensor is. That literally came out. Something fell on it when the engine was loose in the workshop. So I ended up just sticking it back in and it's been fine. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pull the plug off carefully, because if I don't, I don't have the tab here. I normally say to you guys, push the connector plug in, pull the tab back, and then pull it off. Like on this one, I push it in, pull the tab back on the top, and the plug comes off, no problem. This one is ruined, so I can't even do it with that. I'm just going to have to use a pick, and hopefully hopefully not, maybe not. Right, so that's basically how badly damaged my high pressure fuel pump was. I'm surprised it's even been working properly. Let me get that off first quickly, and then I will show you guys the next step. So I'll put some pliers on that there, put a pick in there. Come on, baby. There we go. So that's that. That's pretty much scrap. I mean, I can use this pump for spares. I can use it for this top cap, for that pressure sensor, for this relief valve. So it's not completely scrapped. So once you've got those unplugged and you've got the PCV pipe out the way, you want to remove this black cap. Always try and have some spare rags with you, because it will kick out a hell of a load of fuel. Pump that in there, and obviously normally your engine's going to be very, very hot. So this is where we use our 13 mm spanner. and we want to remove this valve, you will get a lot of fuel. Like I said, you will get a lot of fuel come out. Mine won't, because the car's only been started for a few seconds, just to move it into position. What I like to do, everything that I take off, I throw up on a scuttle panel just so that I don't lose anything. All right, so we've got that valve out. This allows us to crack 3 of the T30 bolts loose. So you've got one here, you've got one here, and you've got one down there. And once you've cracked them loose, I then move on to the other bits, because I just like to know that I've not got any problems. Now, I haven't even checked the cam follower on this engine since it's gone into the car. So for all I know, this cam follower could be ruined. So I'll crack those loose. Now, I was saying this on this vehicle, this one has got the Banjo bolt. I'll see if I can get you guys closer. Have a look down here. We've got a Banjo bolt here. This is very annoying to get to. What you do have to be careful of is this coolant pipe here. This piece here is very, very delicate, and the amount of times I've snapped these is unreal. You can get upgrades. It's an aluminium pipe. I'll show you one of those in a second. But the next thing to do is to crack off this 17 mil. So let me try and get you guys in a position so that you can actually watch this a lot better. Let me zoom out a bit. All right, so we're good now. Guys, can you all hear me properly as well? Just make sure that you guys can hear me properly, and I'm not talking to myself. I am talking to myself, but I'm talking to you guys. This piece here, this is a vacuum pump. You can pull that pipe off and just move it out the way ever so slightly, just to give you a little bit more access down here. Whatever you do, do not lose. There's a rubber piece on here, and if you lose it, you're going to have issues. So do not lose this rubber piece here. Pull that off, pull that out the way, and like I said, put that up on the scuttle panel with all the other bits and bobs. We'll loosen this 17 mil now. This is the fuel rail. We'll get that off. And like I said, we're going to have a lot of fuel going everywhere. So I'll tuck some cloths down there. So just a couple of turns on that. And then the most annoying bit yet is the Banjo bolt that I was talking about, which is a little bit irritating. What's going on, guys? Slay Outdoors, thank you for joining. Mark Watson, thank you for joining. Funny, this came up as I was wondering how to do this on an AXX. Yeah, so AXXs are the ones that comes with the Banjo bolts or the early BWA engine codes. It is very irritating. Like I said, it is very fiddly. It's just a very annoying thing to do. You can get your induction kit out the way if that makes it any easier for you guys. Now, what I'm going to do, I've got the M8. Obviously, I've got an angled piece here. Let me change. So some of you guys might not have access to a lot of different tools, but with whatever you can, it's always easier if you can find an M8, a small bit like this, and that will go in there. Obviously, we want to make sure that it's on loosening. Now, what I tend to do, and this is why I said to be careful about this pipe here, is normally I go in between that. And on the occasion, when you do crack it loose, you can slip and hit this. Then you've got a real issue. So let me pull you around here. You guys can see a little bit better. You see down there, right here is what I'm undoing. And it is a little bit fiddly. If you want to get this pipe out the way, you can, but there is a special clip on it. I've got a tool for it, but I'm just trying to show you guys how you would do it at home. But I normally try and support this ratchet with my finger here. You can see that moving. And this is, ooh, this is extremely tight. So I'm worried now. Wow, that is crazy tight. Oh man, this is going to be a problem, guys. So from what I can see, this gold fitting up here is trying to twist. So someone has done this up so tight, it is actually moving the whole line. Can you guys see that? And I don't know why, but of course, every time I go to do something, it becomes a problem. So I'm not really too sure what to do with this now. I can't get a spanner on here, I don't think. I'll have a look. Maybe I've got the wrong size spanner. I need to try and hold this in place because we don't want to break this. This could end up being a very, very long day for me. Right. Lovely, of course, as always. See if I can get some pliers on that line, on that fuel line, and try and hold it from twisting. You're gonna have to bear with me, guys, because I didn't expect to come up against this right now. There we go. So that's cracked loose, luckily. And let me get you lined up properly. So you can see there, it's turning now. It's very easy to drop this banjo bolt into the engine bay. I've done it a few times on different cars, literally on the side of the road. And that is one thing that you really don't want to do. So once you've got a fair amount of turns on it, take the tool out. And realistically, you want to try and get 2 fingers either side to spin it out. And then you want 1 finger underneath to support it if it does go to fall. And there we go. That's the banjo bolt out. I know it's very fiddly, but this, guys, is why I'm showing you how I do it to avoid you guys getting yourself into any issues. So now we've done, we've got the clip on the side done, we've got the clip on the top done, we've got both fuel lines undone, and we've already cracked loose these 3, the T30s. Remember, there is tension here because the high pressure fuel pump is spring loaded. So to make it easier, put a bit of pressure onto the pump, and you should be able to undo these bolts by hand. And same again, anything you take out, throw up on the scuttle panel so you don't lose it. That's 1 bolt, 2 bolt. And my biggest caution to you guys is when you're doing these bolts up, please use as small a ratchet as possible. Yes, you want to know that it's tight, but you don't want to pull the threads out of the timing chain casing because it happens many times. I had a friend here the other day and I showed him, we basically went through the same thing, and I showed him this is exactly how you do it. He didn't do anything wrong, but where the high pressure fuel pump had probably been taken apart so many times, what had happened is it stripped the thread out of his casing. So we ended up having to do a thread repair on that. So what you want to do down here, it's got a slight little, it's like a semicircle, like a round ball that normally sits up into the fuel pump. You give the fuel pump a little bit of a wiggle, it should come off. Now, if you've got a rubber fuel line, you don't even need to touch it. All you need to do is a 17 mil, and you can literally pull the high pressure fuel pump out, just lean it back. That's if you're changing a cam follower. If you want to do internals, you've got to remove the right, so that's good. Look, it's still black. I'm going to change this anyway because it's a habit of mine. If you're here and you've already got it out, change it. There's no point putting it back in. For what they cost, you're better off just knowing that you're in good hands. Bear with me 1 second, guys. Yeah, as I was saying, if you've got your fuel pump off and your cam follower is, within reach, just change it. There's no point messing about or, thinking, oh, I've still got a little bit of miles on that. It's not worth it. Really, just don't do it, guys, because you just put yourself at risk. The little ratchet that I was using, it's a Blue Point ratchet. You can get them in sets. So you have one that's straight, one that's angled, and one that's angled the other way. So they're really good. I use them quite a lot, like bumpers, everything. That is probably one of my most used ratchets out of everything I've got. So this is obviously completely stock, high pressure fuel pump. I can feel it leaking all over me. And what we want to do, so we want to grab a deep 18 mil socket, which I'll show you guys now. This deep 18 has to go over the spring, and you have to compress it still because it does kick back, right? So you want to put pressure on it, and then you want to crack it loose. I'll show you guys in a minute. Obviously, like I said, I've got a vise down here. Um, so I'll get you guys as low as possible. Just bear with me 1 minute. What are your thoughts, guys, on these lock into learns? Are you liking the lock into learns? I feel like I want to give something back to you guys and show you guys how to do some of this stuff, because I know times are hard. A lot of people don't really have crazy amount of spare money to hand. Right, so this is my good high pressure fuel pump. There's nothing wrong with this. The only thing we need to transfer is the gold fitting that allows me to run it as a Banjo fitting, as opposed to the rubber fuel line. So I've got soft jaws in my vise. And obviously, if your sensor was good, you'd want to be very careful about the position of the sensor. So you will put your pump in, you do your vise up if you've got a vise. If not, then you've got to improvise. I mean, to be fair, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to crack it loose because the vise isn't attached to anything. We want to get it on there, you know, like I said, push it down, bit of pressure, and you'll feel where it needs to be, like that. Set it to off. There we go. So that's cracked loose. And then what I will do is I'll show you what the internals look like. I'm sure you guys will have seen it on the picture anyway. And I have got some old internals in a box. So yeah, so this is your stock I mean, for all I know, this is a stock high pressure fuel pump. It could be uprated. I don't know. Um, but it looks fairly stock to me. So the stock ones can come apart fairly easy. You can literally just pull that off. It's not a problem. Obviously, take note as to what side, like the thickness is. So when you're doing your high pressure fuel pump, you want to take note. If you can, leave this in one orientation, pull the parts off, put them in the same orientation. So you can put that, for instance, put that spring down there, put that there. And with the stock ones, you can pull the whole thing out, right? So like that, like that. You can pull the spring off. And then you've got a small, see this little circle piece here, this little, what you need to do then is you'll get a tool when you buy your uprated internals, and it's like this. It's got a little slot, and all you need to do with that, you put that there. It doesn't have to be on a vise, but I'll just show you guys. It doesn't have to be on a vise. You could literally, if you're careful enough, do it on the side of the road or between two spanners or something. Just get a hammer and tap this, and I'll show you what happens, guys. So what happens with this, you give it a couple of taps. Yep. And then what happens is this little head piece here, that pops up. So that's a lot higher up than it was before. And then you can take this shaft out. I might have to give it one more tap. And what happens is this shaft slides out like that. So that allows you to get the spring and stuff over the stock, over the uprated internals. Obviously, with the uprated internals, I was saying like you can't pull the shaft out. I think on the uprated internals, this isn't one complete size. I'm sure one end is thicker than the other, or yeah, I don't have one here to show you, but that's pretty much it. Obviously, you would get, let's say, for instance, we've got your brand new internals out of the box, wherever the box is. So this is an old box. So you've got your brand new internals like that. Now you pull them out the box, remembering the orientation that you had everything in. I'm sure you can't, like I was saying, you can't pull this the whole way through with an uprated one. So you put that onto the shaft. It would have to be that way because there's a ledge on it. Then you put that through there, and then you would put that spring on. And this is where it gets a little bit difficult, guys. You would have to put, no, that way like that. So we'd have to put this over enough, and this you'll have to compress this here. So this is why it's easier to do it in a vise. You have to compress that through like that, and then you can slot your piece with the head back on. It's pretty tricky to do without a vice and stuff, but come on. And then I just need to get this piece back out. Bear with me, like that. And then what you would do, no, I'm lying. I'm lying. Sorry, guys. What you would do is you need to close this piece off. So you would leave that in, then you would close that off. So you see how much it sticks out now. Obviously, you'd have it in a vise or whatever, give it a couple of taps. It's not going to tap because everything is loose, but that closes it up and you end up with your internals looking like that. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to throw a new cam follower in, and I always keep these in stock, I believe, unless I use the last one. So I always keep fresh cam followers in stock. If you guys need the part number, there's a part number. Take a screenshot. 06 Delta 109309J. That is the most recent revision that I have ordered anyway. So that's your cam follower. Make sure you take a picture of that, and we'll put the cam follower back in. If you bear with me, I'll set up the camera again, but it's not all over the place. Right, like that. And what I normally tend to do is I will either get some fresh oil from a jug, or I'll use the oil on the inside of the casing. In this case, being a lazy boy, and I would just use that to lube up the cam follower. Okay, that's what I do. Never put it in dry, guys. That's not a good idea. That's how things get damaged. So yeah, oil that up, cam follower goes back in. So that is that done. So if you were just doing a cam follower, obviously you've got your 3 bolts, your 2 plugs, and then you've got a 17 and a rubber line. If it's just a rubber line, pull it out the way. If it's Banjo bolt, obviously you need the M8 with a little bit of jiggly joggly. So what I'm going to do now, I'll wipe this piece up, and I've just got to remember I was saying I needed to change over the piece, right? Just got to change over the piece on the pump for it to take the Banjo bolt as opposed to the rubber line. So this pump is from my old engine that went bang, and obviously I've normally got a rubber line that goes on there. So this time, let me just grab, I'm not sure what size I need, 14 maybe, or is it 17? We got 17. 17's up there. Maybe it is a 17. Oh, and it's loose anyway because it was playing silly buggers. So what I'll do, I'll just pull that off, and there is a washer. This washer, guys, that sits on top of this, you cannot lose. If you lose this, you're gonna leak fuel everywhere. So yeah, so that one I'll now screw into this, and this will allow me to take. So for instance, if you guys want to upgrade from Banjo bolt to rubber fuel line, this is something that you'll have to do, but you need the whole fuel rail as well. It's not something that you can just change this fitting. You need the whole fuel rail complete. Um, so what I'll do, I really do need to get a work bench sorted. What I'll do now, I'll clamp it in the vise, and I'll tighten it up quickly. I want to make sure that this doesn't come loose again. Next time I need to undo stuff. I think I've just made a mistake. I think that felt like it went righty tighty to lefty loosey, righty tighty to righty loosey. Done it, guys. There's me talking about not over tightening stuff. I've ruined something there because I felt something slip. What's gone? Hmm. I feel like something has just given up, but I can't see anything. Dun dun dun. And he does it again. Very worst case. Yeah, something's turning. That's still turning. Why is that still turning? Oh no, it is tightening up. Nope. I've done. That's going to come off inside, isn't it? As soon as I loosen this up. Oh, he's done it, guys. So, thank you for joining me on this live. I've just shown you how to shit up. Right. So, back to the drawing board, guys. I think. Oh, why does this stuff happen? Here's me trying to show you guys what not to do. I've just showed you exactly what not to do. So, over tightening things gets you in big trouble. So, I've just ruined that one, and that fitting is now jammed in there. So, the plus side of things, I didn't want to be doing this today. It's Mother's Day in the UK. I've got an inlet manifold here that I took off of my engine. So it's either I can maybe try and remove the fuel line and just change over the fuel line, or I've got to now change the whole manifold over. So that is not good at all. Or do I have another banjo bolt? Ooh. Oh, actually, tell a lie. If I've got that fitting, bear with me, guys. If I've got that fitting on another fuel pump, then I'm saved. Bear with me. Wait a second. Hold that thought, guys. I do have loads of spare parts somewhere. It's just finding out where they are. I'm sure I put a load of fuel pumps somewhere the other day. Fuel pumps. Let me have a look. Right. So, oh, goddamn. We've got ECUs falling out from how. I really shouldn't climb on things, should I? Right. So, this is why I never throw away parts. I've kind of ruined that now. And I'm hoping somewhere, there we go, we've got a spare. So that's a spare banjo bolt fitting. This is why, I mean, look, another one with a cracked sensor. But this is why it's so handy to keep hold of these parts. Like I've just shown you guys, if I didn't specialize in this stuff, I, who do this on a regular, would have just put myself in a very bad position. So I've got two fittings there that I can use. Oh, an idiot! I'm an idiot. So I just need to now undo my mistake. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this out, which is an issue. But this is the best. This is the cleanest pump I've got because this was brand new a little while back. Um, while I am on this subject, guys, what I will tell you as well is if you ever have a situation where on these TFSIs you're using a hell of a lot of fuel, your car might start backfiring or misfiring quite a lot. Sometimes it can be the seals in the high pressure fuel pump give up, which is why my high pressure fuel pump is brand new. The seals can't be replaced. You can obviously use another pump, you can change your pump out, but chances are, again, it's going to be a second-hand pump. And with that, all that means is you don't know how long you've got, basically. So I'm just going to stick some paper in this hole just so I don't get any bits of metal inside. And I'm going to have to try and figure out how I'm going to get this out. how I'm going to get this out. But it shouldn't take me too long, if I'm honest. We'll find a Torx piece or an M spline. Hopefully that will grab it. Have I got a T40 anywhere? Is that a T40? That's a T40. I can try. It with a T40. Hopefully, I get myself out of this situation now, because this is very irritating. I could build up one of the other pumps that I've got here, um, but I don't really want to be doing that. I don't want to be doing any of this. This was pretty much ready to go back together. But again, I'm glad you guys are watching it on the live, because you can see how easily things can go wrong. It's not ideal, but what matters is that you can get yourself out of these situations. So I'm hoping that I can just crack. Right, well, it wasn't even tight anyway, so I'll pull this one off. So that's me being a complete idiot. Like, I throw my hands up to that, and yeah, I can't believe I've done that. Basically, can't believe I've done that. And by the looks of it, guys, I didn't have the crush washer in there. So there again, another mistake. That is probably why I've over tightened it, because I didn't feel the tension, and then it, decided to make me pay for my mistake. So what I'm going to do, just squirt a load of brake cleaner in there, just to make sure that I've got no crap in there. And from there, right, we can go back to the step we were at a little while ago. So I just need to get one of these with that. We're good with that. I've just got to get that one's already loose, which is amazing. Let's take that crush washer with it, and then we'll throw this in. And I definitely will not over tighten it this time. That was a silly mistake. Very silly mistake by myself. But I was worried about it coming loose again. So right, that's my limit. If it does start spinning when I take the banjo bolt off next time, it's not the end of the world. I just don't want to put myself back in that situation. So I'm going to prop you guys back up here. We're going to get this high pressure fuel pump back on. And I mean, look at the time, 33 minutes with a mistake. It just goes to show you how quick you could actually do your cam followers at home, guys. Obviously, once you know what tools are needed and what steps you need to take first, it does become a walk in the park. You can do it on the side of the road, middle of the night, with no light if need be. Um, yeah, let's get this bad boy back on, and we'll start her up so you guys can see. Another plus side is that I am going to have the top clip that actually clips in properly. Right, so with this, when I put them back together, obviously it is good practice to have a seal and replace the seal at the same time, but I didn't order a rubber seal. I will do when all of this stuff goes onto the new engine, however. But I normally do them up by hand. Like I said, it is spring loaded, so you have got a bit of pressure there. Right, this is where I struggle to find tools, because I've moved them about now. After the mistakes, I can't believe I made that mistake, guys, right in front of you. Right, I need T30 now. What did I do with T30? Right, I'm going to do it up to the point where it bites with this, like that. Obviously, this can be a devastator. You don't want to You don't want to start damaging stuff with that. I need to find the T30 that I had by hand. Then I can do that up. But yeah, we've got those two done up. Banjo bolt. I'll do the banjo bolt now. So same thing again, guys. Like I was saying, it's very tricky to get in there. Let's see if I can get you guys a better view. No, that is all right there. We'll zoom in so you guys can see. That's where we're dealing with right there. So like I said, two hands for the banjo bolt. Sometimes it is a bit funny to get it back in like that. That there, the fitting wasn't sitting where it needed to be sitting, and I've had to push it. Now, if you put these banjo bolts back in and cross thread them, you're in big trouble. I have had that in the past, and it's not very fun. So once you've got one or two turns, you want to slide your M8 back in there and just support it with one finger from underneath. And do that up. Oh, come on. Again, same thing. Don't over tighten it. Get it so it's tight and nip it up. Then we're back with the 17 again. And the 17 is for this one. You'll know Knots, what's going on, bro? Nice of you to join. So this one here, this nut always tends to disappear halfway down the fuel line. You want to get that up. And same again, you can see that that fuel line is not sitting right up to the high pressure fuel pump. Now, if you just try and do it up like that, you're going to give yourself problems. So you want to try and get the fuel line as close as possible. And then make sure that you've got a couple of turns. Oh, you're playing with me, yeah? You want to make sure that you've got a couple of turns on the fitting beforehand, and even check from your left and right just to make sure that it does look like it's going on straight. There we go. And it's just a case of doing it up. We've done cam follower and high pressure fuel pump on this. Same again, bit of a nip. And we are ready to put the rubber piece that I told you guys not to lose. Put that back in your vacuum pipe. What I will always do is I always wipe off the fitting that it goes onto, because they do get covered in oil at times. And that should go back on firmly. We can put this connector back on through the pressure sensor. Like that. Get that little white down so it's a bit cleaner. And then we can do the one on the top, guys. Sorry, I don't know what happened. It just went on to YouTube Studio. So I was just thinking, oh no, I've not put the 13mm back on, which is the bleed valve. However, I've changed fuel pumps. This is the fuel pump, the original fuel pump from the Golf. So I won't be putting this back in. So for some of you guys that are like, oh, he's missed something out, it's not a problem. Obviously, the old fuel pump was broken and this has got upgraded internals in. So we're now ready for a first start. And I'll show you guys. I also need to try and find this T30 that's gone MIA. So I'll leave that open. What I normally do after I've changed the fuel pump is I'll prime the fuel pump three to four times. So I switch ignition on and off a couple of occasions. What's going on? Normally you'll hear like a load of noise coming from the fuel pump area. On this occasion we can't. I don't know why. I'm gonna give her a start. So that's it basically. That is how you change your high pressure fuel pump, internals, high pressure fuel pump, or cam follower, or all three on your Mark 5 GTI, or any engine that's an EA 113. So thank you guys for joining. I do want to do some more of these lock-in to learn. As you can tell, I'm ridiculously tired. I'm very, very run down, but I'm just trying to do the best I can to give you guys some content. And yeah, so that's it. Join me next time. The next lock into live will be not this Sunday, it'll be Sunday after. So I tried to do the lock in to learn every other Sunday. I'll try and find something for you guys to learn how to do, whether it's a Mark 5 GTI, whether it's an Audi S3. It just depends what vehicles I've got around me at the time. But thank you for watching. If you guys aren't subscribed to the channel, please do me a big, big favor. Hit that subscribe button, share a couple of videos with your friends, tag them in the comments or whatever. And I'll see you next time. Have a good Sunday. Go and show your mama some love because it's Mother's Day. I'm out of here. Peace.